Hello, everybody. My name is Connor Lynch with Westwood Media Center. Today, we are joined again by Rich Adams, the interim Recreation Director, who will explain to us a little bit about what's been going on at the Recreation Department in all these trying times and as the state looks to start reopening some of the old facilities that we used to have. So, Rich, thank you very much for giving us the time again. It's good to see you once more in a computer screen.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Connor, for having me back. I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. First, before we kind of jump into the questions, I just want to ask how everything's going, both, personal and on the recreation department. How have things been?
Everything's been going really well. Like you said, these are been difficult times, but like I said the last time, we're making the best of it. We've been working very hard within the recreation department to plan for our upcoming season. Obviously, we weren't able to have a spring season, so we were very much looking forward to, making sure that we run some good summer programming.
Absolutely. We're just coming off the heels of Memorial Day weekend, and based on a code red that went out from Town Administrator Chris Coleman, a lot of people were notified that some of the facilities were somewhat more open, a little bit more less restrictive, I should say. I'm wondering if you can take us through some of the steps and some of the statuses of the recreation facilities.
Absolutely. So in accordance with the outdoor recreation plan released by Governor Baker on May 18th, we did open the fields, the tracks, and the tennis courts over Memorial Day weekend. At later stages, we will open the playgrounds, the basketball courts, in the pool. Those dates have yet to be determined, however. And I'd just like to add that for those folks using those facilities, it is very important to remember and abide by the social distancing guidelines, as well as the order issued by Governor Baker about wearing face coverings while using recreational facilities. Very important that we follow those guidelines. Secondly, I'd like to emphasize that for those using the fields, it's currently open for passive recreation activity only and not for organized and/or competitive play at this time. And then lastly, for the tennis players, we have posted a link on the town's website as well as the recreation department's website for safe play during this pandemic, issued by the USTA. So for those playing tennis, I'd encourage you to go to our website and check out those guidelines to ensure that you're playing in a safe manner.
Okay. Also, last that we were speaking, we were waiting to see if some spring programs would still be running. And I wanted to ask if that's still the case, if any of those programs might be coming back or in some type of capacity.
So, so we were hoping, when we last spoke, I was hoping very much that we'd be able to offer some spring programming, later on in the spring, but the stay-at-home order lasted a lot longer than we were expecting. So realistically, we're just not going to be able to run our spring programming this year. So they've been canceled. Our program managers are in the process of canceling the registrations and issuing full refunds. The only exception to that, Connor, is there are 3 aquatics programs that if we can open the pool sometime in June, we would run. One is springboard diving, the other is lifeguard training, and the third is water safety instructor. And all 3 of those programs, even if we can't run them in the spring, they will be run in the summer. So it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when.
Absolutely. And I think people would be happy to hear that they're not just immediately going out the window, that there still is the attempt to continue to have these programs for people.
Exactly.
You had mentioned summer, and summer is fast approaching. And I wanted to ask, are you still planning on running the summer camps and different programs that are normally scheduled in the summer? And if those are going to happen, what are some of the precautions that are being taken in lieu of COVID-19?
Absolutely. So this has been the big question that we've been receiving over the past couple of days. It seems like with Memorial Day weekend, which is the unofficial start of summer, everybody switched their thinking to summertime, and we've been getting quite a few questions along those lines over the past couple of days. So yes, it is our hope and our expectation that we'll be running our summer programs in some form this summer. We, over the past 6 weeks, have been planning adding to our safety protocols to make sure that we can run safe programming. However, at this time, we have yet to receive any requirements and or limitations from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and that's key. We're waiting for that information before we can finalize our plans. So once we get that information, we will go through it in full detail and align our programming with that guidance to make sure that we're running safe programming. From there, the Director of Public Health will review our plans as well as other town officials, and then our plans will be finalized. So at that time, we'll be able to issue specifics to the families that plan on using our programming this summer. Unfortunately, at this time, I can't give details because we just have not received the guidance from the state yet. We were hoping to have received it a week ago, and we still haven't. So we will be working very diligently once we do receive it to get those plans finalized quickly, get them approved, and then out to the families.
Absolutely. And I think it's going to be key for everybody to be able to know where to look for that kind of stuff. So when those updates do come out, where should people look to figure that information out?
So I would suggest that folks go to our website and we'll have the information there. I would also suggest that you follow us on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we'll make announcements through that. And of course, anybody that's registered to a program, we have their email address, and we will be sending that information out via email as well. So there will be multiple ways that families can get that information.
Excellent. Well, that brings me to the end of my questions. I wanted to leave the floor up to you and let you have some parting words or any information that we didn't go over.
Sure thing. Thanks, Connor. So probably three things. The first one, again, I would just reiterate the importance when you're using the outdoor facilities to abide by the social distancing and face covering guidelines. We want to make sure that we continue to bend that curve downward in the right direction. We certainly don't want to see it go in the other direction and have to go backwards. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I just would like to reiterate how anxious and excited we are to get back to running programming. Of course, we need to make sure that we're doing so in accordance to the guidelines issued by the Commonwealth, but we're very much looking forward to seeing our patrons. And then lastly, when we last spoke, I talked a little bit about the boredom busters that we've been posting to social media to help families with some ideas about how to handle the stay-at-home orders. And we've continued to do that throughout the past month or so, and hopefully everybody's enjoyed those. I will add that our aquatics manager, Sue Perry, and our assistant aquatics manager, Sam Packard, have recently started running online live bingo on Facebook. It happens at 3 o'clock on Wednesdays. You register the same way you would any of our programming, and it's free, of course. And from there, you'll get a card emailed to you, and then you just go onto Facebook at 3 on Wednesdays, and you can play. It's hilarious. It's a lot of fun. We had a blast last week, so I truly encourage you to go out and give that a try as well.
I think we're going to have to stop by at some point and see if we can record it, but at least, it's been a while since we played bingo, so maybe I'm going to jump on one of those days. Are there any prizes for anyone who wins, or?
It's just glory. It's just fun.
Just for bragging rights.
Absolutely.
Well, Rich, again, I wanted to thank you for giving us the time and talking about these programs. And once we hear the word from you guys that things are starting to turn out in the different directions, then we're happy to also spread that word to make sure that the residents of Westwood know what's coming up.
Truly appreciate it, Connor. Thanks again for having me.
Thank you.